What's up everyone, welcome back to Lace Up Channel. My name is Mickey. In today's video, I'm going to give you the 5 metrics that you need to be paying attention to optimize your warehouse productivity. So, let's get right into it. The first metric, pick volume by picker. I can't tell you how many people have no clue how many orders their pickers are picking. Your ability to get as many orders fulfilled and shipped out the door is directly correlated with your ability to increase your net profit and decrease your costs associated with returns and employee overhead. So having a system that actually tracks how many orders, how many cases, how many units, depending on the system you use, each of your pickers pick in a given workday will help you better manage your picking staff and optimize the staff that perhaps isn't being as productive as they should. So please have something to track pick volume. The next metric to pay attention to is order picking accuracy. Now my customers have 2 ways to validate the accuracy of their picks. The first way, what most people do, especially in small businesses, is after the order's been picked and staged in a packing area, at that point somebody comes through and does what we call a check inventory. The check inventory allows you to validate the pick list and do a visual scan over the order to ensure that at least what you can see is indeed accurate. This, in my experience, allows you to find most of the errors as they happen, and you're going to document those errors. Anytime you have to take an order, unpack it, or remove it from a packing bin and send it back to a picker, that's very inefficient and inaccurate for your business. So what you want to do, you want to document every single time that this happens to you, and then compare it to the number of orders that were picked during that process. If you have a WMS, the WMS in a checking screen is going to allow you to indicate which orders were picked incorrectly, and it'll keep track of those incorrect picks to give you that value automatically. Otherwise, you're going to have to track it manually. Either way, order picking accuracy, very important. The next metric you want to think about is the average and peak warehouse capacity used. How much of your warehouse are you using over a given time span? Let me give you an example. Let's say that your warehouse is comprised of 100 bins. Pretty straightforward, right? Of those 100 bins, you constantly have 10 bins full. So out of the 100, only 10 always have product in them. This means that your average warehouse capacity is likely 10%. So 10% of the warehouse is full at a time. This probably means if you maintain these ratios over 6 months to a year, you're probably running in a warehouse that's way too big. Now on the flip side, let's say you've got 100 bins and 90 of those bins are always full, and over the course of 6 months to a year, you're always running those 90 with peaks hitting the 100% ratio. This means that you're running a warehouse that's far too small. And by having a warehouse that's too small, that means that you can't all of a sudden ramp up and take on a big purchase order. You can't ramp up and pick up a new product or pick up a whole new set of customers. I think the sweet spot's to be anywhere between 60 and 70% warehouse capacity usage. And if you're right in there, that means that you can ramp up right away when needed. You could still grow your business. You can operate within a margin of safety and not kill yourself. I mean, kill your business. You guys know what I meant. But yeah, average and peak warehouse capacity used, very important metric. The next important metric you want to think about are on-time shipments. How many times have you hit an option to get a package delivered to you in 2 or 3 days only to have it show up 2 to 3 weeks later? Now, if you're anything like me and you're a consumer, you're going to get pissed off when this happens. You're probably more probable to return that product to the sender. You're probably more probable to forget you ordered that product in the first place, and then maybe all of a sudden have no need for that product when it finally arrives. So being able to measure if your products and your orders are exiting your warehouse on the day they were ordered and arriving at the customer in the time frame it was promised will minimize your returns, okay, and will increase your customer satisfaction, thus yielding more happiness overall, and probably, I'm not saying 100% of the time depending on your product, but probably a higher net income for your business. The 5th and final metric that you want to pay attention to is cycle count accuracy. Now, anyone with a warehouse is inevitably going to do a cycle count. You're going to go count a bin location to ensure that the product that's supposed to be there indeed is. At the end of that cycle count, you're going to have the totality of bins that have been counted. You're going to have the totality of bins that have discrepancies. When you take what has discrepancies over what's been counted, you get a percentage. And that percentage, the higher it is, the worse you're doing, the more theft you have, the more negligence you have from your employees, the less of a good warehouse management system you have. It's crazy how this inventory count accuracy tells you so much about your business. But by not having it, you've got no idea that your warehouse has these problems. So my customers, they count their bins, the entirety of their warehouses, once a month on average. And during these counts, we store in our database the bins that were counted, but also the bins that had discrepancies, and we're able to give them a monthly report that shows them exactly what percentage of these bins are inaccurate. Okay? So anyways, I think those are the metrics you need to know. If you have a WMS, ask your WMS provider to get you these metrics. If you don't have a WMS, you're able to probably store everything by hand. Just make sure you keep a count of it all and calculate these percentages yourself. I hope that this video helped. If it didn't, well, sorry. You just wasted about 10 minutes of your time. But, because you're already here, do me a favor. Go down below, give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe, and I'll see you next video. Take care.